I want to take a minute to go through a theoretical discussion. Now, bear with me, this is going to sound a little bit abstract and maybe a little bit unrelated to what we're talking about, but you're going to have to trust me that this is related to the topic at hand. So the discussion that I want to go through is based on the picture that you see. So we have two people standing in a forest. We've named them Martin and Grace. And there's a pine tree and a spruce tree. Both the pine tree and the spruce tree fall at the same time. Now, Martin is 340 meters away from the pine, Grace is 340 meters away from the spruce, and there's 340 meters between the pine and the spruce. We've chosen that number because sound travels at 340 meters per second, so we can say that Martin will hear the pine fall at about 1 second after it falls. Grace will hear the spruce fall at about 1 second after it falls. Now let's assume for the moment that Martin and Grace have some magical power to know the difference between the sound of a pine tree and the sound of a spruce tree falling. I don't know how they know that. Maybe they were lumberjacks in a former life or something, I'm not sure, but we're going to assume they have this ability. Now, if we were to ask Martin and Grace which tree fell first, they're each going to give us a different answer. Martin's going to say the pine tree fell and then the spruce tree fell about 1 second later. Grace is going to say that the spruce tree fell and then the pine tree fell about 1 second later. So who is correct in this scenario? They're both giving us different information. That information is in conflict. Who is correct? Let's suppose we needed a definitive answer. We needed a single answer. It doesn't necessarily have to be the right answer, but if it was the right answer, that would be good. But at the very least, we need to make it so that we don't have conflicting answers. So we need to eliminate that conflict somehow. How could we alter this scenario in order to eliminate that conflict? So what I want you to do is I want you to spend a bit of time thinking about things that you might change in this scenario so that you get only one answer, or rather you can disregard another answer, or you can come up with a single definitive answer based on the information that you have at hand after altering the scenario. Feel free to talk about this with other people if you feel that's necessary, but otherwise what we're going to do is we're going to take a bit of time to think about it, and then I'll go through a bit of an explanation of, first off, some of the techniques that we might use in order to get a definitive answer, and then secondly, why this is important to the discussion at hand.